Noble goals for noble souls, transforming our world to a better wonder to behold. No poverty, zero hunger, for the elderly or younger. Good health and well-being, good education, empowering women to become sensation. Clean water and sanitation, is it not the right of every nation? Economic growth, inclusive and sustained, through industry, innovation and infrastructure be gained. Reduce inequality for sure. Make cities and human settlements safe and secure. Take urgent actions to combat climate change. Conserve like below water, land, ensure we do not estrange. Justice for all, oh peaceful and empathetic nations. Let us all partner to achieve these goals and provide much needed salvation.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. A very good morning, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, kirimate, terve, and maraban. This is Namya Joshi, your host for the day. Welcome to episode 115 of the podcast, Each One Teach 10, an amazing world of STEM, an inspiring venture where we'll be discussing that STEM is part of every day for every kid. We all will learn together how to build a STEM culture. Well, this is your first podcast that where I'm tuning in from Suomi, that is Finland. Well, today's guest is at the heart of reshaping how we think about learning in the age of AI. And I'm really glad and delighted to welcome Dr. Jari Laru, a university lecturer and researcher at the University of Oulu, Faculty of Education and Psychology in Finland. His work centers on learning sciences, digital pedagogy, and AI literacy in teacher education. And he was part of the team that established this team minor subject in the faculty. He also works on Generation AI project, which has developed innovative educational tools like GenAI Teachable Machine, Somekone, and Breakable Machine to foster AI literacy in schools and teacher education. Dr. Jari, on ilo saada sinut mukaan podcastiin. Tervetuloa.
No niin, kiitoksia. Thank you so much. It's my honor to be here in a like a celebration series because this is now 150. It's a big moment, and it's a very honor to be here to share some insights from my behalf to audience who is participating to this podcast.
Kiitos. And like I said, it's the honor is all mine. So before we begin, you've worn many hats, like as a researcher, lecturer, and innovator in digital pedagogy. And I'd love to start at the beginning. What drew you towards AI in education, and how did your early experiences shape the way you see its role in learning today?
So could you rephrase a little bit that?
Yes.
This question. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that I could look this question from two viewpoints. Like another one is how different machine learning based systems which are used to support that talent acquisition shape the that selection process. There might be some biases, etc., in a data which is used as a background technology, but I don't go to that direction. I would highlight use of generative AI. When people who apply positions, they might generate CVs, different kind of author documents with the help of generative AI, and may lose little bit originality if they are not creative enough how they use AI as a tool. So AI is a very powerful, now I mean generative AI, but AI is also embedded in the different kind of structures and systems. Also in this context, like that we don't actually even think about that AI is part of that requirement talent acquisition process. But that kind of systems are like black boxes. We know only that young people and we middle-aged persons, etc., we use generative AI for brainstorming and ideating and support for writing, etc. And this is pretty essential that how we actually utilize the power of that kind of technology to help the applicants side of the process. But of course, also staff who are requiring people, they may use also generative AI to analyze applicants' documents, etc. So this is very complex phenomena. Very complex.
Yeah, I actually agree with how you mentioned about like AI in education, like basically has two perspectives. Like you talked about how different ML systems are being used behind the scenes to support talent acquisition, which of course, like you've
Excuse me, I have to stop air conditioning thing.
no worries,
Start. It
that's
is
perfectly all
getting
right. Of
noise.
course, we will wait. No worries. And I'm sure the audience has amazing points to share in the chat. So
Okay,
go
so it's
ahead.
easier to discuss without very very
Yeah,
huge
I
noise.
agree.
Okay,
Killa,
great.
killa. Right.
Okay.
So you're talking about like how it's, sparked your curiosity about the broader potential in learning. At the same time, you've also, become concerned about how people might rely on generative AI all the time for like tasks like writing CVs, which could, of course, that is something that has to come from our own creative side, and it's something that is humane, and you have to write it for yourself. Otherwise you will lose that creative side and the critical thinking side of your brain. And
Yeah,
of
and
course,
higher order thinking like that. We have to use our own brains. Oh, a pen. That
absolutely.
was dropped.
Otherwise
So that
then
if we externalize all our thinking to computer like AI, we lose a lot. So it's like a balance between that higher order thinking, like using our brains and using tools as a support for our daily activities.
yeah, I agree. And I feel like, because even if you have to use AI, but the points and all the parts that you have to mention, that should come from your thinking and your originality. Because if it's going to help you like rephrase things for you, but the points and all the creativity, that has to be yours. Otherwise, there won't be a difference between you and AI. Like, because AI will do the work for you, even make your CV. Otherwise, then you won't be able to add your own real value and your originality and
Mm.
uniqueness into it. So of course, like it is helping people to of course brainstorm ideas and present themselves
Mm.
more authentically and effectively. But in case we totally make AI do that, then I feel we will become less effective, and that will make AI overpower human beings.
Mm. Yeah, it's a balancing. We have to uh,
True.
somehow manage that, and of course, it's also huge challenge also for education because in EU has set up a EU AI Act, and there's a demand for AI literacy. Of course, it's a very generic in that higher level, but we educators also are now exploring that phenomena, that what it might be, and it's a very hot research topic also at the moment. A lot of different kind of research initiatives are in the field of AI literacy. Of course, because it's a now that hot trend. I have seen
True
that kind
that.
of technology trends now on my career. Many different kind of waves, and AI is now, if you think about Gardner's hype curve, it has that kind of peak. So it's a climbing up to that top of the hype curve, that the generative AI. Think about that, it's a 2 years old, 3 years old at the moment as a phenomena, as a consumer phenomena, that generative
Yeah,
AI. It's a
true that.
weird, because it's just been so disruptive
Yeah,
technology.
like, because I've experienced that myself. Like, ChatGPT and AI and other like Gemini, these tools became quite popular like just a year or so ago. Now we see everybody talking about how do we combat usage
Yeah,
of AI? How do we like totally, bring out the human side? But what some people have to realize is that we cannot combat it. We need to learn how to make, a balance, like you said, and also be able to live when you are not able to, you're not totally removing the AI thing, but also being able to add the human element to it. So that is your human intelligence handshake, AI intelligence,
yeah. And
artificial intelligence.
my colleagues do research in the field of hybrid intelligence, where AI and human cognition are doing things together, so that AI is not tool for just cognitive activities, but it's helping with the metacognitive and emotional and that kind of things. And they have developed a tool called metacognitive AI agent, MAA. And it has been very different viewpoint to phenomena, because we quite often use it, that generative AI, to support our cognitive activities. But it can help also when we lose motivation or struggle with a task, when if it recognize, like analyze different data points, then it can use as a support. But it's a still laboratory level thing, that it's not in the mainstream. But at the university, it's possible to have that kind of, let's say, future binoculars to look
Yeah, of
forward.
course. So,
Yeah.
like you were talking about many educational projects. So you've seen like AI in action in so many of them. Could you share like a real example where using AI made like a clear difference? Maybe, improved decision thinking or revealed new insights or even, helped you to achieve better results than just those traditional practices?
Uh, okay. Yes, yes. I'm example of that kind of
Oh,
success
of
story
course, of
somehow,
course.
because I personally I have a very tight schedule at the moment. Lot of responsibilities what comes to our generation AI project. And because I'm interaction expert in that project, I have a lot of also uh, uh, like presentations and workshops, etc., to different kind of stakeholder groups. And at the same time, I also have now a lot of research activities going on with my colleagues, so and teaching, and top of that also I'm in a local politics. So schedule is a so AI is the only way to somehow organize and help that kind of processes, like daily work activities, but also decision making processes. And last week I had a presentation to like a different kind of non-profit activists that kind of stream was full of people, Finnish people, and I presented uh, like a framework suggested by Mike Sharpless, emeritus professor, where one way to use AI is to support decision-making process, like as an argumentation partner. And I have used it also like a generative AI that I have discussed with that tool, that how should I proceed, and how should I make this chapter better. What how do you think about which what I have list of alternatives, how you see this, and I should upgrade this text, and I have told that AI section should be added, how to do it, and then that technology analyze my text and give some preliminary suggestions that how should I continue. But what is is the difference between novice and expert in that kind of use of AI is that as an expert, personally, I recognize hallucination and misinformation, etc., from the text. But my master students and bachelor students, when they are doing their thesis, and if they use AI as a like a tool in their learning projects, they don't have similar skills because they are young and like they haven't had that kind of lifetime experience. So I can use pretty freely AI as a support for different kind of activities because my intuition helps to recognize what is the bullshit and what is the golden nugget. And the current models like ChatGPT 5 and that GPT-5 in a Copilot and ChatGPT and the new versions of Gemini and Cloud and so on are so good that if everything goes well, quality is very nice. So I could share a lot of stories, and also I can share like an opposite story. My colleague is wants to write like a scientific text without touch of AI because he wanna keep somehow that feeling that he is the boss and AI is not like harming the creative process between writer and text. But more or less, people are relying on AI tools, at least a little bit. But it's a increasingly true that we use that kind of tools to increase productivity and also as a help. I can't imagine that past where I didn't have that kind of tools. It's sounds horrible that I have to just sit and think about that, how to continue. Now I can have that kind of companion to help me with the decision-making process or brainstorming, whatever, what is waiting for me. I just go to application or web page and say that, come on, let's continue. And then that person is helping. So I think that our daily life in a digitalized countries, it's in a whole, it's a success story. That if people adopt that kind of technologies, they can change the way to do different kind of things. So
Yeah, that all sounds amazing. Like you talked about like how all of us have our own success stories, and I kind of agree because you were talking about like using AI with a novice or an expert, and you rightly mentioned that bad experts can usually detect misinformation and navigate it confidently. Novices who just use AI, give a prompt, and get the answer, use it, they often struggle. and AI can, guide them through the process, helping them develop critical thinking skills as they gain experience using it. And that's what reminds me of something that I really love to talk about and share with my peers, is how you can get better at prompt engineering and write efficient prompts. Like if
Mm.
you're able to give properly featured and structured prompts, you can get better results. But another thing that I agree with your point is where you have to see what answer is given to you and not totally use it entirely. You get the point, but you have to get your own creative side out. And
Mm.
also, that's where decision making comes in as well. That you're able to analyze it properly and then use your thinking whether to use the information given or how to use it. And of course, it helps you to enhance your productivity, because it of course helps you to manage your tasks. And I too have used AI to create like um, checklists, and of course like timelines on how I can manage activities if
Mm.
I have too much work, like you were talking about how you
Mm.
have to manage like teaching, research, and even politics. So
Mm.
it helps you to organize the complex information and really helps you work more efficiently and use it more productively.
But
But
I have
that's
a opposite experience also, that I had to
okay.
translate a huge questionnaire to Swedish,
Mm-hmm.
and because of my prompt, I didn't specify how it should behave with that Excel file and so on. So technology started to hallucinate without any proper warning, that AI wrote to middle of new version of Excel, like original text and Swedish version, which was total hallucination. And I noticed it just after hours, and I tried to make it again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed that I can't use that long, huge document without specifying how to handle also that document as a technological artifact. And it was surprised that it's possible that it hallucinates like with the data which was already processed. So I had translated that data, and I thought that it saved it, like it just saves, but it didn't save it. It changed it all the time, that document.
Okay.
But it's a very difficult to see where that productivity and failure,
Mm-hmm.
like a balance, goes to wrong direction, because I used 2 days with that questionnaire, and I used AI that I have to solve this. So it's a very big challenge, even
Yeah.
for experienced person like me, because I'm also learning at the same time how to prompt and so on. So you say that prompt engineering is important, and it's very important is also to recognize that prompting is iterative process.
Yes.
You actually discuss with that tool, and
Mm-hmm.
I try to be gentle, because in some research it was noticed that when you are gentle and kind, you get better results. But when I got poor results, with that hallucination, I wrote that I changed the brand. You didn't succeed, so I go to competitors' product, and then then that tool
Yeah.
tried to
Maybe all you have to do
convince
is
me.
write Ole hyvä, please do it for me.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a very tough, uh,
Yeah.
like a thing to recognize when your productivity is actually collapsing, and you just end up to suffer with bias and hallucination and that kind of things. Very demanding.
True. That brings me to this turn that I want to ask you, like, how do you balance? You were talking about intuition. So, how do you balance human intuition with machine generated recommendations in your workflow?
I tried to already explain it. That balance between machine generated content, is it recommendation or image or whatever, and my own understanding. it's I said already that being expert in education technology and that certain narrow field that education, learning, sciences, whatever, it gives me like a skills to a little bit be more literate than novice. But still, AI, generative AI, it's not search engine or database. It's a probability fortune teller kind of lottery machine thing. and you need to understand that it might hallucinate and so on. But now it's a harder and harder when new versions appear, because they try to tackle that kind of most like a visible wrong, erroneous recommendations and content. But also that intuition with a machine-generated recommendation is interesting from totally different viewpoint. If you think about like social media and media services, where recommendation algorithms actually, not like a generative AI content generation, but there are recommendation algorithms there which actually recommend content. And there, how can we actually understand intuitively that now that Facebook discussion or TikTok video flow or whatever is actually machine-generated bubble, and I should understand that because I'm clever and I see that this discussion is now like a bubble or echo chamber. So now I'm calm and I don't go into that flow, or I don't reply that you stupid person there, you don't understand anything about this. So it's very challenging. And that's why we have developed in our generation AI project, we have developed first ever social media emulator. And with that emulator, school children can actually learn in 2 hours that how machine-generated recommendation change our thinking and how this system works from the data to profiling and clustering and recommendations. But this concept recommendation for me is like a recommendation algorithm, not as a part of that ChatGPT recommends something. Actually, ChatGPT doesn't recommend. ChatGPT knows. Have you noticed that it never ever that large language model, generative AI, ChatGPT style product, it doesn't say, I don't know.
I recommend.
It's always, it has an answer, like a recommendation, but it's not recommendation, it's a knowledge. I know.
Yes.
I know. Even it's a bullshit, but
it will agree with whatever you say.
Yeah. That it's a weird that, because it would say that I don't know. This is too difficult question. But
it was like that before. Now it's like, I'm a know-it-all. I know everything.
And with a teachable machine, another tool, it's very easy to show that, for example, if I make a dog-cat classifier and try to test it with humans, it always can recognize a little bit human, a cat or dog, even that data doesn't have, that test data doesn't have cats or dogs. So it's, of course, probability is 20, 30% or 10%. But answer is that you are a little bit cat, a little bit dog. And that is
Kissa ja koira.
Kissa ja koira. That balance is very difficult concept, and it's also related with it can be like connected with a different kind of AI algorithms and so on. But I say claim that it's a mostly like a good concept to describe that free time and social media flows and recommendation algorithms there, because it's a very painful uh, way how we are like controlled by that kind of recommendation algorithms.
Yeah. And that makes me think about, like, since humans have to understand how to thrive in such environments, what do you think are the interdisciplinary skills that the future generation will need so
Mm.
that they can thrive in this AI enhanced environment?
Yeah, that is good question, and I have been training now a lot of Finnish teachers and other stakeholders because I have that uh, let's say average Joe mainstream understanding of AI. I'm not computer science. I'm like an end user. So first I introduce a different kind of AI is a ubiquitous, pervasive. It's everywhere, and it's a that and that and that. But then after that, I have section where I describe that. Come on, we humans still have the same cognition that we had in the Stone Age. And International Labour Organization, ILO, they have like analyzed different kind of 21st century skill frameworks and integrated it as a single one. And I show that a framework where is a like a collaboration and communication, cognitive and metacognitive skills, environmental skills, and basic digital skills. That digital skills has a role, but it's not like a most important thing. More important is that we get a cognitive and metacognitive skills, and we get a understanding how we collaborate, solve conflicts, etc. We are still humans. We are not like robots or something with electronics embedded into our brains. So we have to remember that AI is a tool, and depending on your profession, of course, you have different kind of like levels of expertise how you use that technology. So that kind of interdisciplinary skills like collaboration, problem solving, metacognitive skills, and different kind of literacies like information literacy, media literacy, data literacy, AI literacy. That kind of skills, of course, are increasingly important because AI generates bullshit or golden nuggets of knowledge in a second, and you have to immediately analyze that what you got and how to continue. So I would say that in order to distinguish fake news, real news, fake newspaper, fake friend, like an avatar, like you, for example, you may be AI avatar. I should check that. Do you have some gestures or something which like reveals that you are AI agent? In the future, we can't be sure that who is actually participating to discussion online, because, for example, Meta, that Facebook, Instagram company, WhatsApp company, announced that they actually will launch pretty soon, if they didn't launch, I don't remember, AI companion, which participates to difficult meetings behalf of you. Think about what kind of skills we will need in the future. So that kind of skills which are not related to technology as such, if we think about as humans, are very important still.
Yeah, of course. I
Yeah.
agree. Because, like, I think as technology is advancing rapidly, the human touch to things is decreasing. So that's when I feel like you rightly mentioned human cognition is still the same as it was in the Stone Age.
Mm,
All we have to do is like apply those and develop those strong cognitive abilities,
mm,
because it's even more important than just learning technical skills, because you
mm,
need to understand how to focus on like critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication, and
mm,
not like the AI avatar doing it for you, but you need to know how to communicate with people. And
mm,
whatever AI is generating for you, you will have to learn how to analyze that faster. And the
mm,
real challenge will, of course, and agree with the point, is right now to how to interpret the question and how
mm,
to apply the information more thoughtfully. And like this all, I think, reminds me of the importance of digital citizenship, where you know the importance of staying alert online, staying balanced online, staying informed, and
mm,
becoming that person who is spreading the information out. That we have to know how to create those safe spaces, and we have to know how to, of course, create an environment where humans thrive just as much as AI. So for that, you need to become that yourself, instead of like waiting for somebody else to do it for you. Because if all of us would work together, it would help us to create the balance faster. And then we have to learn, of course, how to apply those skills. And that's why like today's workforce is not just about knowing tools and competencies. It's about real life skills and how you apply that in
mm.
your maybe in your school, in your college, in university, or even in your workforce.
And
So
yeah, please continue.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh yes, I just wanna a little bit counter argue you
Yes, go
that
ahead.
I'm originally from city who had a very big sailing ship fleet, and our citizens sailed around the globe
Hmm.
200 years ago. They had skills to design, build, and navigate ships when we didn't have any computers or advanced tools, but they used a human skill, like you said, that we build and use tools and so on earlier. But those skills were not like related to any modern technology, but those skills are like an innate part of us, that we are creative problem solvers, and we can like think about what we did in the past and what we should do in the future, and we are very good utilizing new technologies. And maybe now challenge actually from that your question point of view is that generative AI is a very efficient and fast support to replace our higher order thinking, that we too easily we like get a ready-made answers from the technology, that how we actually create procedures for children and teenagers, but also for us adults, to have a slower that loop with the AI technologies, that we iterate our uh, prompts and discuss with the AI and get a different kind of viewpoints and argue back and forth and so on. So it's a huge issue at the moment if we think about mainstream school kids
Yeah, yeah.
and adults. Yeah, but the technology as such, it's a and ability to use that kind of interdisciplinary skills. It's an innate part of us as a human beings, and it makes us a unique in our globe.
Of course, you just need to
Yeah,
know how to apply this skill rightly and which skill is used where. And of
yeah.
course, like you said, it's innate part of us, and it needs to be developed more and not subsided with generation AI or other tools which are trying to become it. But if we can enhance ours, that maybe is going to help us more. Yep. Right, so I have a fun question to ask you. Um, Pidätkö enemmän kasasta vai talvista?
Summer or winter? It's a difficult because in Finland we have four sharp seasons like
Yeah.
summer,
Suksu, I think that's
syksy,
autumn. Yeah.
autumn, and talvi, winter, and kevät, spring, and kesä, summer. I like all of those. I'm a person who goes by bicycle to work. Uh, Years ago, I did so that it was minus 28. I started to bicycle from the home, and my eyes were so frozen that
Frozen.
I had to come back to home to get slalom goggles. I put those
Glasses.
to my head, and then I got the privilege to have my own bicycling road because it was
Wow.
minus 28 extreme temperature, and now I'm also here at the university, so
Yeah.
that I have to bicycle to home. So I feel all seasons when I bike to work and home,
Yeah.
and I like all of those.
That's great. I've actually experienced November winter in Finland and
Yeah,
the summers in like May and June. But I'm yet to experience like those minus 20 snows
yeah,
everywhere.
it's
So like if I'd say like in Finnish, pidän talvesta, pidän lumesta ja revontulet. I think I said maybe.
yeah,
That means like
definitely,
I
yeah.
like winter and because I love snow and I was able to see the northern lights like a few days ago, just a little glimpse of it because there were like no street lights around and there was like one ray that was kind of green. So waiting to see like them like
Yeah,
properly.
and because I live in north, 600 kilometers from Helsinki, we quite often we see northern lights up in the sky, and northern lights are there. Of course, some of us just run to yard. Northern lights and so on. But it's a
Yeah.
fast process that if you don't go immediately when northern lights are present, it can be so that they are gone.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. This is
It's a
what
very
I
beautiful
could
phenomenon.
see. Like maybe you can.
Yeah, yeah, you have yeah,
Yeah, maybe it's
yeah,
like visible to the audience.
yeah, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
very
very
beautiful.
pretty.
Yeah, and it depends on the cloudiness of sky and temperature and so on. So it's
True that. And
complex.
I've heard like you should go to places where there are no street lights because they reflect light.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you won't be able to see them.
yeah,
And it
that's
was
it.
quite difficult to find them because it was
Yeah,
like very cloudy that day.
yeah,
But it was just next to the apartment. There was one patch which had no clouds, and we could see like one
yeah. I know that
line.
in Ylläs, it's a one winter sport resort in Finland.
Yep.
They don't turn on street lights when it's tourist season
Mm-hmm.
because it helps to see northern lights. Because many tourists come to Lapland to see
Yep.
northern lights.
Romanami. Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard like it's gonna the best season to go there is like probably autumn because you get to experience like a lot of things. You get to see reindeers, but I'd love to go like when it's Christmas because of course
Yeah,
who would not like to see Santa's
yeah.
workshop?
Yeah, Christmas is a little bit overcrowded nowadays.
Yeah,
That a
yeah,
lot of people are coming to Christmas, but autumn is very beautiful because of
yeah.
Ruska. Uh,
Yes.
Everything is in a colors and
Yep.
like the trees and so on. And spring is best season for Finns. That we go to Lapland, and in our region we have also a lot of winter sport resorts. We go to those because sun has come back. Because we have that season close to Christmas that sun doesn't come up.
Yep.
So sun is back, and weather is warmer. So it's a +5 or something like that, very hot. So then we go to resorts, but we little bit we are not so fun of going in let's say January, February,
Yeah,
December
because it's
because it's
dark.
cold
Yeah.
and dark.
Cool,
So
man. Yep.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for answering that. And asking you, like, looking ahead to 2025 and beyond, what innovations in AI are you most excited to see in the talent and learning space?
Maybe first innovation, of course, is our next tool in our generation AI lineup. It will be first ever large language model emulator for kids. And prototype is actually learning now that it's a training that model on my web browser. It's I think that in a few months it will be public, but now it's a semi-public prototype. So it will be like from our project point of view, it will be very huge thing, and also in a research community, because it's a something that it has been thought that it's impossible, that kind of tool is not possible to build because it runs on the browser. But if we look, let's say, beyond and innovations, like a bigger innovations, at the moment, development in the context of different kind of video and image generators seems to be pretty huge. Like if you think about consumer market level products, like Google's Nano Banana is a very powerful. So I think that that kind of steps, what comes to image generation and video generation and storytelling, like are pretty exciting. But as an educational technologist and teacher, I think that Microsoft has put a lot of money to game, and they have developed those speaker progress, reading progress, math progress tools as a part of the EdTech lineup, and those tools integrate language models and different kind of ill-structured learning problems, like how to increase reading, interest to reading among small children, and how to get the feedback to teachers, how kids read. So those are very important. But of course, if we just look to research context, a lot of research done, for example, in my former research unit, that Let Learning Lab, they do very interesting research in the cross-section of, for example, virtual reality and AI, and medicine and learning sciences, or algorithms from Faculty of Electrical Engineering and Information Processing Sciences, and then ideas from learning sciences. So they have been able to develop a lot of methods and technology innovations and enablers to help humans in different kind of positions. So this answer is pretty, how to say, complex and many-sided. Like I can't highlight single thing, but
Yeah.
But because I've worked with the AI literacy among teachers, teacher educators, and kids, of course I want to highlight our own innovations, which are in a global scale are very like a groundbreaking. But of course, context is that AI literacy, and then consumer markets may benefit a lot of that image, video, that kind of multimodal steps. But the research field is full of very in Finnish language, päräyttävä, like a super exciting things which are like building up, but the research is so slow that what is being explored in a laboratory nowadays may be end user product after 5-10 years. So, but I see in the future at the university.
Of course, we see like AI in every single research, healthcare, esports, like, and it's benefiting literally every generation. It's not like it's just meant for the youth. It's for the adults. It's for young people, the children. So it's about how we explore different fields and see how it benefits each generation, and also understand like how each generation can use it ethically. And that's what I feel like is, using tech for good. And
Mm.
I've, you talked about like how basically we can spark curiosity, and of course deeply embed AI in the systems, but learn how it can help us to, support better decision making. And of course, especially for those who are still building expertise. But at the same time, it's important that we understand human cognition, critical thinking, creativity, but use it, of course, wisely and
Mm.
thoughtfully. So I'll try and finish. Uh, Dr. Jari, kiitos paljon ajatuksiltaan välisten näkemysten jakemisesta siitä, miten tekoäly voi muokata oppimista ja tuoleamme. Your work in building AI literacy designing tools and empowering educators to embrace these changes is genuinely inspiring. So, kiitos paljon for being on the podcast. It was an absolute honor to have you here today.
Okay, thank you so much, and it was honor to me to be your guest. You have had that 149 guests before me, so
Actually,
so
114. This is 115th episode.
yeah. So it's a very big pleasure. So thank you so much.
Kiitos
Yeah.
paljon. Ole hyvä päivä.
Yeah.
And thank you so much everybody for joining in this episode. And this is the first one from Suomi. You'll have a lot more coming in. So have a great day and hashtag